Exodus 6:9-35. God spoke to Moshe. He said to him, I am Adonai. I appeared to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov as El Shaddai, although I did not make myself known to them by my name, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, Adonai. Also with them I established my covenant to give them the land of Canaan, the land they wandered about and lived as foreigners. Moreover, I have heard the groaning of the people of Israel, whom the Egyptians are keeping in slavery, and I have remembered my covenant. Therefore say to the people of Israel, I am Adonai. I will free you from the forced labor of the Egyptians, rescue you from their oppression, and redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. I will take you as my people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am Adonai your God, and who freed you from the forced labor of the Egyptians. I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. I will give it to you as your inheritance. I am Adonai. Moshe said this to the people of Israel, but they wouldn't listen to him, because they were so discouraged and their slavery was so cruel. Adonai said to Moshe, Go in and tell Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to let the people of Israel leave his land. Moshe said to Adonai, Look, the people of Israel haven't listened to me, so how will Pharaoh listen to me? Poor speaker that I am. But Adonai spoke to Moshe and Aharon and gave them orders concerning both the people of Israel and Pharaoh and king of Egypt to bring the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt. These were the heads of their families. The son of Reuven, the firstborn of Israel, were Hanok, Palu, Hetzron, and Carmi. These were the families of Reuven. The sons of Shimon were Remuel, Yamin, Ohad, Yachin, Zokar, and Shaul, the son of Canaanite woman. These were the families of Shimon. These are the names of the sons of Levi with the descendants of Gershon, Kehat, Merari, and Levi lived to be 137 years old. The sons of Gershom were Levani and Shimei with their families. The sons of Kehat were Amram, Yitzhar, Hebron, and Uziel. Kehat lived to be 133 years old. The sons of Merari were Machli and Mushai. These were the families of Levi with their descendants. Amram married Yocheved, his father's sister, and she bore him Aharon and Moshe. Amram lived to be 137 years old. The sons of Yitzhar were Korach, Nepheg, and Zikri. The sons of Uziel were Mishael, Elzaphan, and Sitzri. Aharon married Elishava, the daughter of Aminadab and sister of Nachshon, and she bore him Nadav, Avihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. The sons of Korach were Asir, Elkanah, and Aviasaph. These were the Korachi families. Eleazar, the son of Aharon, married one of the daughters of Putiel, and she bore him Pinchas. These were the heads of the families of Levi, family by family. These are the Aharon and Moshe, to whom Adonai said, Bring the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt, division by division, and who told Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to let the people of Israel leave Egypt. These are the same Moshe and Aharon. On the day when Adonai spoke to Moshe in the land of Egypt, he said, I am Adonai. Tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, everything I say to you. Moshe answered, Look, I am such a poor speaker that Pharaoh won't listen to me. But Adonai said to Moshe, I have put you in the place of God to Pharaoh, and Aharon your brother will be your prophet. You are to say everything I order you, and Aharon your brother is to speak to Pharaoh and to tell him to let the people of Israel leave his land. But I will make him hard-hearted. Even though I will increase my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, Pharaoh will not listen to you. Then I will lay my hand on Egypt and bring my armies, my people, the sons of Israel, out of the land of Egypt with great acts of judgment. Then when I stretch out my hand over Egypt and bring the people of Israel out from among them, the Egyptians will know that I am Adonai. Moshe and Aharon did exactly what Adonai ordered them to do. Moshe was 80 years old and Aharon 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. Adonai said to Moshe and Aharon, when Pharaoh says to you, perform a miracle, tell Aharon to take his staff and throw it down in front of Pharaoh, so that it can become a snake. Moshe and Aharon went into Pharaoh and did this, as Adonai had ordered. Aharon threw down his staff in front of Pharaoh and his servants, and it turned into a snake. But Pharaoh in turn called for the sages and sorcerers, and they too, the magicians of Egypt, did the same thing, making use of their secret arts. Each one threw his staff down, and they turned into snakes. But Aharon's staff swallowed up theirs. Nevertheless, Pharaoh was made hard-hearted, and he didn't listen to them, as Adonai had said would happen. Adonai said to Moshe, Pharaoh is stubborn. He refuses to let the people go. Go to Pharaoh in the morning when he goes out to the water. Stand on the riverbank to confront him, and take in your hand the staff which was turned into a snake. And say to him, Adonai, the God of the Hebrews, sent me to you, saying, let my people go, so that they can worship me in the desert. But until now you haven't listened. So Adonai says this will let you know that I am Adonai. I will take the staff in my hand and strike the water in the river, and it will be turned into blood. The fish in the river will die, and the river will stink, and Egyptians won't want to drink water from the river. Adonai said to Moshe, say to Aharon, take your staff, reach out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over the rivers, canals, ponds, and their reservoirs, so that they can turn into blood. There will be blood throughout the whole land of Egypt, even in the wooden buckets and stone jars. Moshe and Aharon did exactly what Adonai had ordered. He raised the staff and in the sight of Pharaoh and his servants struck the water in the river. And all the water in the river was turned into blood. And the fish in the river died, and the river stank so badly the Egyptians couldn't drink its water. There was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. But the Egyptians did the same in their secret arts, so that Pharaoh was made hard-hearted and didn't listen to them. As Adonai had said would happen. Pharaoh just turned and went back to his palace without taking any of this to heart. All the Egyptians dug around the river for water to drink because they couldn't drink the river water. 7 days after Adonai had struck the river, Adonai said to Moshe, go into Pharaoh and say to him, here is what Adonai says, let my people go so that they can worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will strike all your territories with frogs. The river will swarm with frogs, and they will go up into your palace and go into your bedroom, onto your bed, and they will enter the houses of your servants and your people and go into your ovens and kneading bowls. The frogs will climb all over you and your people and your servants. Adonai said to Moshe, say to Aharon, reach out your hand with your staff over the rivers, canals, and ponds, and cause frogs to come up onto the land of Egypt. Aharon put out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. But the magicians did the same with their secret arts and brought up frogs onto the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh summoned Moshe and Aharon and said, intercede with Adonai to take the frogs away with me and my people, and I will let the people go and sacrifice to Adonai. Moshe said to Aaron, not only that, but you can have the honor of naming the time when I will pray for you, your servants and your people, to get rid of the frogs, both yourselves and your homes, and that they stay only in the river. He answered, tomorrow, Moshe said. It will be as you have said. And from this, you will learn that Adonai our God has no equal. The frogs will leave your home, you and your homes, and also your servants and your people. They will stay in the river only. Moshe and Aharon left Pharaoh's presence, and Moshe cried to Adonai about the frogs he had brought on Pharaoh. Adonai did as Moshe had asked. The frogs died in the houses, courtyards, and fields. They gathered them in heaps till the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that he had been given some relief, he made himself hard-hearted and would not listen to them, just as Adonai had said would happen. Adonai said to Moshe, "Say to Aharon, reach out with your staff and strike the dust of the ground. It will become lice throughout the land of Egypt." They did it. Aharon reached out his hand with the staff and struck the dust on the ground, and there were lice on people and animals, and all the dust of the ground became lice. Because throughout the whole land of Egypt, the magicians tried with their secret arts to produce lice, but they couldn't. There were lice on people and animals. Then the magicians said to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh was made hard-hearted, so that he didn't listen to them, just as Adonai had said he would. Adonai said to Moshe, "Get up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh when he goes out to the water, and say to him, 'Here is what Adonai says, let my people go so that they can worship me. Otherwise, if you won't let my people go, I will send swarms of insects on you, your servants and your people, and into your houses. The houses of the Egyptians will be full of swarms of insects, and likewise the ground they stand on. But I will set apart the land of Goshen, where my people live. No swarms of insects will be there, so that they can realize that I am Adonai right here in the land. Yes, I will distinguish between my people and your people, and this sign will happen by tomorrow.'" Adonai did it. Terrible swarms of insects went into Pharaoh's palace, into all his servants' houses, and the insects ruined the entire land of Egypt. Pharaoh summoned Moshe and Aharon and said, "Go and sacrifice to your God and here in the land." But Moshe replied, "It would be inappropriate for us to do that, because the animal we sacrifice to Adonai our God is an abomination to the Egyptians. Won't the Egyptians stone us to death if before their very eyes we sacrifice what they consider an abomination? No, we will go 3 days' journey into the desert and sacrifice to Adonai our God, as he has ordered us to do." Pharaoh said, "I will let you go so that you can sacrifice to Adonai your God in the desert. Only you are not to go very far away. Intercede on my behalf." Moshe said, "All right, I am going away from you, and I will intercede with Adonai, so that tomorrow the swarms of insects will leave Pharaoh, his servants, and his people. Just make sure that Pharaoh stops playing games with the people by preventing them from going and sacrificing to Adonai." Moshe left Pharaoh and interceded with Adonai. And Pharaoh did what Moshe had asked. He removed the swarms of insects from Pharaoh, his servants, and his people. Not one remained. But this time, too, Pharaoh made himself stubborn, and he didn't let the people go. Then Adonai said to Moshe, "Go to Pharaoh and tell him, 'Here's what Adonai, the God of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go so that they can worship me. If you refuse to let them go and persist in holding them, the hand of Adonai is on your livestock in the field, and on the horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, and flocks, and will make them suffer a devastating illness. But Adonai will distinguish between Egypt's and Israel's livestock. Nothing belonging to the people of Israel will die.'" Adonai determined the exact time by saying, "Tomorrow Adonai will do this in the land." The following day Adonai did it, and the livestock of Egypt died. But not one of the animals belonging to the people of Israel died. Pharaoh investigated and found that not even one of the animals of the people of Israel had died. Nevertheless, Pharaoh's heart remained stubborn, and he didn't let the people go. Adonai said to Moshe and Aharon, "Take handfuls of ashes from a kiln, and let Moshe throw them into the air before Pharaoh's eyes. They will turn into fine dust over all the land of Egypt and become infected sores on men and animals throughout Egypt." So they took ashes from a kiln, stood in front of Pharaoh, and threw them into the air, and they become infected sores on men and animals. The magicians couldn't even stand in Moshe's presence because of the sores, which were on them as well as on the other Egyptians. But Adonai made Pharaoh hard-hearted so that he didn't listen to them, just as Adonai said to Moshe. Adonai said to Moshe, "Get up early in the morning, stand before Pharaoh, and say to him, 'Here's what Adonai says. Let my people go so that they can worship me, for this time I will inflict my plagues on you, yourself and your officials and your people, so that they will realize that I am without equal in all the earth. By now I could have stretched out my hand and struck you and the people with such severe plagues that you would have been wiped off from the earth. But it is for this very reason that I have kept you alive, to show you my power, and so that my name may resound throughout the whole earth. Since you are still setting yourself up against my people and not letting them go, tomorrow about this time I will cause a hailstorm so heavy that Egypt has had nothing like it from the day it was founded until now. Therefore send and hurry to bring indoors all your livestock and everything else you have in the field. For hail will fall on every human being and animal left in the field that hasn't been brought home, and they will die. Whoever among Pharaoh's servants feared what Adonai had said, had his slaves and livestock escape into the houses, but those who had no regard for what Adonai had said left their slaves and livestock in the field. Adonai said to Moshe, reach out your hand towards the sky, so that there will be hail in the land of Egypt, falling on people, animals, and everything growing in the field throughout the land of Egypt. Moshe reached out with his staff towards the sky, and Adonai sent thunder and hail, and fire ran down to the earth. Adonai caused it to hail on the land of Egypt. It hailed, and fire flashed up with the hail. It was terrible, worse than any hailstorm in all of Egypt, since it became a nation. Throughout all the land of Egypt, the hail struck everything in the field, people and animals, and the hail struck every plant growing in the field, and broke every tree there. But in the land of Goshen, where the people of Israel there was no hail. Pharaoh summoned Moshe and Aharon and said to them, this time I have sinned. Adonai is in the right, and I and my people are in the wrong. Intercede with Adonai. We can't take any more of this terrible thunder and hail, and I will let you go. You will stay no longer. Moshe said to him, as soon as I have gone out of the city, I will spread out my hands to Adonai, and the thunder will end, and there won't be any more hail, so that you can know that the earth belongs to Adonai. But you and your servants, I know you, still won't fear Adonai God. The flax and barley were ruined, because the barley was ripe and the flax in bud. But the wheat and buckwheat were not ruined, because they come up later. Moshe went out of the city away from Pharaoh and spread out his hands to Adonai. The thunder and hail ended, and the rain stopped pouring down on the earth. When Pharaoh saw the rain, hail, and thunder had ended, he sinned still more by making himself hard-hearted. He and his servants. Pharaoh was made hard-hearted. And he didn't let the people of Israel go, just as Adonai had said through Moses.